Hello everyone. Hi, I'm Gauri Vase. Today we are going to learn the function XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP function got introduced in 2019 version of Office 365. Now, what do you mean by XLOOKUP? As the name suggests, look up for a particular value. Now, why XLOOKUP and why we should not go for VLOOKUP? Or what is the difference between XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP? XLOOKUP is a modern, flexible Excel function that finds data in a table or range by row. Replacing VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, it works by matching a lookup value against a range, returning a corresponding value from another range with a default exact matching and then ability to look to the left. In the simplest word, let's explain this with an example. I have a source data as well as the base data. In this particular base data, I have the employee code number 1, for which I'm looking out for the first name. I'll get the result data from my source, that is my employee data, which has the columns as first name, last name, departments, region, employee code, branch, hire date, and salary. Now you can ask me why we cannot use a VLOOKUP function over here. In this particular case, though we have employee code as a common column between both the data set, that is my base data as well as source data, we cannot use VLOOKUP because VLOOKUP always allows you to pull data from the left-hand side of your common column from your source data. In other words, if I'm looking out for employee code number 1, first name, which is located on the left-hand side of your common column, that is employee code. And with VLOOKUP, I can definitely pull data from the columns called branch, hire date, and salary. This is a loophole in VLOOKUP that I cannot pick up the values from the columns which are located on the left-hand side of my common column, that is employee code. So I cannot pull the data from the columns for first name, last name, department, and region. Now, how XLOOKUP provides solution for this, let's understand. To get the first name of employee code 1, I can type equal to XLOOKUP. It shows me in the intelligence list. To select a function, I can press tab. Now, to understand the function more clearly, I can click on the fx, which we call it as insert function help. It helps you to write the function. The shortcut for it is Control E. This opens function argument window. It gives you the parameters, which are nothing but the user input in the function argument dialog box. So what we can see the lookup value, lookup array, and return array are in a bold. That means these parameters are mandatory parameters which you need to fill up to get the value. The rest two, that is if not found and match mode, are non-compulsory parameters. Now let's begin with the first parameter called lookup value. Once you click on lookup value is nothing but the value you can search for. Now I'm looking for the value for employee code 1, for which I need to get the first name. Where I can get the exactly same employee code, that is employee code 1, in the employee code column, that is nothing but my column E. Column E is an array or a range to search over here. So I can search for employee code 1 within the entire employee code column. What do you mean by return array? Return array is nothing but the array or a range to return. So what I'm searching for, I want to return the first name, which is nothing but my column number E. So it is automatically showing over here the name of employee code 1. Once it's done, I can hit confirm or I can hit OK to confirm the changes. Now, if I wish to know what is the name of employee code 75, for that I can type 75 under employee code and automatically I will get Suraj as the first name. Now, along with the first name, if I wish to know the last name and department of employee code 75, to do so, firstly I'll copy the column headings which I'm looking out for. Now what I need to have the employee code first names, last name and department. I'm looking out for the employee code 75. To do so, I can type equal to, I'll go with XLOOKUP. I press tab and press Control A, which is a shortcut for function argument dialog box. If you forget the shortcut, you can simply click on FX. Now the lookup value is the value I'm searching for. That is nothing but my employee code 75. Lookup array is nothing but range to search. Now I can search 75 in my source data under the column employee code. To do so, I'll select entire column E. Return array are nothing but the range to return. In the given example, I want to return the first name, last name, and department. So I can directly select the columns A to C. And I can hit OK to confirm the changes. So if employee code is 75, I'll get the name of employee code, that is Suraj, the last name as Saxena, and admin, the department in which he is working. Now, there is one more option over here, that is if a particular value is not found. For example, I'm entering the employee code as 199. If you observe over here, I do not get the value for 199 because I have the employee codes from 1 to 100, which shows me NA which is not available or not applicable. So how I'm supposed to replace my NA, that's my error, with a value? So to do so, usually in Excel, we use a function called ifError. But in XLOOKUP, we have the parameter which can replace our error with a value. To go ahead, I can click on the XLOOKUP in my formula bar and I can click on FX. Once I click on FX, this opens my function argument window with a value added over here. The fourth parameter, which is not a mandatory parameter, that is if not found. So if the particular value is not found, I can return the value if a particular value is not available. So which value I want to return? I want to return employee do not exist. So once I click on employee do not exist, I can hit OK to confirm the changes. Now, if I add an employee code as 199, which is not existed in my organization, it returns me employee do not exist. If I want to return or if I wish to try any other employee code that is 13, it returns me back the name of the employee 13, that is Meera, with a last name Lalwani and department finance. The same records are available over here. This is the way my XLOOKUP is a boon as it helps me to replace VLOOKUP function, HLOOKUP function, match function, which makes my VLOOKUP dynamic, ifError function, and index function. So it helps me to replace file functions with reduced file size. Thank you. Hi. Today we are going to learn a very powerful Excel feature that automatically fills, splits, or combines data in a column by recognizing patterns from your manual input. Over here in this example, we have some employee data where we have the fields called employee code, first name, last name, department, region, branch, hire date, and salary. Now, after the department column, you can find a column blank where I want to have a full name of my employees. So how I'm supposed to use it without using formula? I can enter my pattern over here. Like the first name of my first employee is Suraj and the last name is Saxena. Once I enter the pattern, I hit enter to confirm the changes. Now, like Suraj Saxena, I want to fill the entire column with the first name. To do so, I can navigate to Home tab and from the editing group, I can choose option fill and from the drop down menu, I can use the option flash fill. The shortcut for it is Ctrl E. You can see the changes in the column that automatically the entire column fills with a full name. This tool is especially useful for tasks like separating names, concatenating names or adding the text, formatting phone numbers, or extracting specific information from a data set. You can enter an example in a neighboring cell and pressing Ctrl E, where Excel completes the remaining data instantly without the need for formulas. Now what I need, I'm just deleting the content from here. Over here, I would like to add the Suraj, that's the first name, in uppercase. So I type the pattern Suraj in uppercase, Saxena in small case. Along with, I would like to add a region in a proper case where the first letter is capital. I hit enter to confirm changes and press Ctrl E to fill the column with a pattern. One important care needs to be taken for Ctrl E. The adjacent columns should not be the blank columns. Now, suppose if I wish to add some pattern, the user should give the correct pattern. Means what? Suppose if I need in this example to add the first name as Suraj along with the first letter of Saxena, that is S, that is his surname. But if I give the such pattern and I press Ctrl E, the Excel will consider some different pattern, that is first name and first letter of the first name, which is giving me a wrong output. To give a correct output, I can give a pattern anywhere in the column. Like I'm typing over here, Timsy D for this side. Once I have given a correct pattern, I can press Ctrl E to confirm the changes. So this is the way you can powerfully fill, splits, or combines data in a column by recognizing the pattern. Like combining, even I can separate the details as well. Now over here, I have a hire date column, which I'm going to delete the content firstly. Now in this particular column, I need to extract date from my hire date. In other words, I want to extract 25th from my date column. So I simply type 25 and hit enter. I press Ctrl E to fill the pattern. You can view that the dates from the hire date column are filled within the next column. If I wish to take other pattern, that is name of the month along with the year, so I can type pattern accordingly. That is for my first user, the pattern says October 88. Once I hit enter, I can press Ctrl E to get the same pattern. This is a way you can use flash fill, that is Control E, which helps you to format the data, especially to do the useful tasks like combining and separating names or extracting specific information from a data set. Thank you.